Today I'm going to be assembling some old windows, some very old style windows. Essentially a window exactly like this, with the metal weights in them. Pretty stiff. Yeah, I don't have any windows. It's just the storm window. I'm losing a lot of, it's got to be done anyways. No, not about heat and whatever, but that is part of it. Yeah, I've never actually done this before, but I'm pretty sure I'll be good at it. I'm naturally confident in my abilities because I'm a cis male in a majority culture, and I've been empowered my entire life. I always hear, oh, you're lucky to know how to do construction. Lucky? That's what it is? It's luck? It's got nothing to do with 2 decades of trying and failing, just natural born skill that I've just miracled upon myself, and you could never possibly learn how to do it. It has nothing to do with my hard work and dedication and bad back and knuckles over 2 decades of working alone with no thanks for it. It was my confidence in my abilities is just given to me in some sort of heterosexual gift basket for simply walking out of the womb. Oh, well, you don't have to worry about sexual harassment on your job. Oh, I don't? If you've seen me, you don't think I've ever been working on a job and a lady comes down from the other room bare naked while I'm trying to put in baseboard? You don't think it's ever happened to me? And what happens to me? Do I gotta go home and write a blog about it? No. What do I gotta do? I gotta say, no ma'am, thank you. It's not because you're too old or too this or too that. It's just I don't want to have sex with you. And then now, not only am I not the victim, I gotta console her who's crying because she is sexually harassing me. But who do I get to go to? Because I'm a private contractor. If it goes around that I'm just turning down women who want to have sex with me, then all of a sudden I'm some terrible person. What the hell's happening? But I'm still sensitive to what you're going through. I'm not saying that I'm not, but I'm just saying you're not the only one going through some things. Other people got to deal with stuff too. You're not all alone on some island and everybody, it's us too. Sometimes what I'm trying to say is you can learn to do this sort of stuff too if you just apply yourself and don't be afraid to fail sometimes, and you can do anything you want to do. Yeah, so what I'm going to do, I got to strip the paint and stain it, but first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to assemble it how it is to make sure I've got all the pieces and I'm not staining things I don't need to stain, and to seeing what I need to build or not build. So I'm going to put it all together, then take it back apart, sand it real well, stain it, and put it back in again. And some of the pieces I don't have, but I've got other windows to look at so I can mill them down and make them. Hopefully we have ourselves a window, folks. Before we get into reconstructing this window, let's go over the proper terms of a window. This is called a sash window because there is a upper sash and the lower sash. This is called the head, similar to that of a door, like a door header, and a sill. The sill, obviously a window sill. This is the jamb, similar to like a door jamb. That's the verticals. Did I say grid? That's the grid. This little bit of trim here is called the stiles. So that's just the piece that goes in between here. This is obviously called hardware, glass. This is wood. This is a beautiful curtain here. These are the old windows. Before I went to get going, this one I sanded already. I took the glass out of, which is not the simplest thing to do. These old windows are put in with a window putty. So I had to gingerly take all that out. It would need to be replaced anyway, but I didn't want the glass in it when I'm trying to sand it and all that business. So anyway, I cut these out for the sake of fitting the windows, restaining and painting them. And then I'll show you that at the end, how to put kind of the pilgrimy way they put window glass in these frames. Also, it's more expensive nowadays to have the small little windows like this. So back in the day, that was poor people windows because it was expensive to get a big piece of glass, so they had small pieces like this, so you have the little windows. But now it's more of a style of a house. When putting in trim, I got this countersink deal. I don't even know what it's called, but I've used this for a while. Typically, I would say the old way of doing things is always the way because it's lasted a certain amount of time, but sometimes technology comes through and just kicks the status quo right in the ass. And this is one of those things. I just got a brand new one because I wore my other one. I had it for about 6 years and just wore it out to a hub. But this guy right here, it's got a screw bit which you can adjust and put on either side. Actually, I should know what it's called, but I don't. This side has a Allen key bit, and you can put in whatever bit you want. This star bit comes with the trim screw. Whoop, whoop, whoop. And if you pull it forward, flip it, you have both a drill bit and a countersink bit. So that allows you real quickly to drill a nice hole so it doesn't split your wood. Flip it over, put in your trim screw, and it'll bury it because it's got the countersink edge on it. So you have a nice, clean, tidy hole that doesn't split your wood, and a screw which is much stronger and better grip than a nail. I do apologize about the camera lighting. It's very hard because it's very bright outside and very not bright in here. But first thing we need to do is get this upper sash going. The stile on the outside is already installed. And if you can see these little grooves here, I'm going to reckon that's where the little knot was. I think. Oh, stupid me. It goes upside down. So that means you lay this in the cut here. That's one side in. Hey, how about that? Doesn't go all the way up because it's missing a screw on either side. This bit of the pulley is sticking out. This is just a hinge screw off a door I kind of stole, but I'm going to use it here for now. Should flush that up. I'm going off just where the old paint is to try to figure out which one's which. And this is quite clever, these little bits here that just stick in here so you can access your weights. This one doesn't sit very flush, so this might be for somewhere else. Yeah, nice. So yeah, these little bits here apparently do this. Cool. And then this goes in on top of them. So the next to go in would be the sill. These I already stained because I'm an idiot and it's not even really the right color. I have to notch some of this out, make it a little bit, get it in there a little tighter. It appears I need to come in about 1/4 of an inch. To do this next bit, I'm going to employ the use of my trusty dusty table saw. I'm just going to take off a tiny bit on each side and keep checking it. I've measured it and it is about 1/4 of an inch. So I'm going to go a little less than and then go up and check it because it's much easier to cut more off than it is to glue it back on, and I want it to be tight. Also, with these kind of cheaper table saws, what I like to do with the guide is I always have a square here just to make sure my guide is square. Because it's supposedly they lock into place square, but they do not. Safety all the time. Then I just take a handsaw and I do the rest. I like sawing in a jerk-off motion. It makes it much more natural. It gives me the power that I've developed since the age of 11. Alright, what you can see here is it's tight against the wall. This is where the stile goes. So that gap should fit perfectly between the window. The window should fit between the stile and the sill. And it looks like it does. I don't like these stiles. They're covered in paint. I'm not going to take the time to sand these off and redo them, and they're kind of a little bit too big for the groove almost. So I decided I would make my own. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rip down this 2x6. These are exactly 7/8 by 1/2 inch. So what I'm going to do first, so you can see a 2x6 has this rounded edge. I don't need a rounded edge, I want a straight edge. And this 2x6 is not a true 2x6, is an actual size and the nominal size of 2x4s and all that kind of stuff. But it is 5.5 inches. So to get rid of that curve, I need to come to 5 3/8. So I take my table saw, 5 3/8 between the inside of the blade and the guide. Lock her down, square it off, lock it down, whammo. Alright, so now I got my edge squared off. It's 7/8 of an inch. It's 7/8 of an inch this way. I'm hoping to get 2 out of it so I can get as much out of this one 2x6 as possible. Here is my newly cut stile, and I put 1 trim screw on either side just to temporarily hold them in place. And another benefit to the trim screws, I could easily just come back when I want to stain everything and pop it right out. Beautiful. It's quite simple. It's no 45, just a straight cut because there's no top sill or no top stile. Right on the sill, right to the head. This side is exactly 53 inches. When does that happen? And this side is 53 1/8. And doing the side stiles, this is the old style. It's much thicker, but I don't feel like stripping paint off these. So the closest thing I could find at the hardware store is this. It's a bit smaller, but I'm going to try it first. And hopefully my trim screw is not too fat for that, but I think we should be alright. A lot of these, the ends are a little bit screwed up from shipping, so I like to chop the edge off so it's a nice clean end. With your chop saw, you make sure you get it up to full speed before you cut. Some people just start jacking away real quick, and that's how you screw up your wood, your blade, you get hurt. 53. And I usually use pencil because you're going to be staining it. But I mark it on the back side of the pen sometimes works when you can't find your pencil. I'm going to take this other piece just to show you real quick. When you're cutting trim, you want to do it good face up. So when you cut it, the reason for that is you don't want, on the back side, it's going to blow through kind of that way. But on the face, it'll be nice and clean. Took a little chunk out here because it's not as good a blade and it's very thin wood. So you're going to have just a tiny bit of gap to allow the window to move. I like it better that way. And this small wood's going to take my, my little countersink bit to the max. Window done, I want it to shut smooth. And I think as long as these gaps are here, if I can't, I'm going to make a piece for the side that's missing. I think until that happens, because when it gets down here, it kind of falls in that groove. So I'm going to have to take the stiles out and the front sash, or the bottom sash. The total width of these is exactly 2 inches. It's got a kerf on the top and bottom in order for it to have something to screw to and hold it flush. So 19, so both, first I'm going to cut a 2 by 19 inch piece that is 3/4 of an inch thick. I got these 2 pieces of scrap wood. I'm going to do my 2 inch cut first. Lower my blade to just above the wood. So we can see the depth on that piece. So we'll lower the blade down to where the high point will not go past it. But what I also need to do is take this bit out here, but not all the way down. Just kerf it out, basically this same cut, but on the opposite side. Because there's so little to take off in order to get that flush, I just did it all with a utility knife, because I don't want to fire up the saw for that little bit. But since we got it good in there, I'm going to mark the top and the bottom, and then I'll use a straight edge to make this line here, right? And then I'll take the stile itself, stick it in there, get that rope out of the way, put the stile in there, mark the depth of it, and then I'll use that, flip it the other way, and that'll give me my depth on this. Then that should be alright. For this cut, as I had to go all the way through, I took the back guide off, because it's dumb anyway. See, we have our nice curved cut. we have a bit of an issue here. I think just because they added insulation, for some reason this window doesn't line up with the outside of the drywall, so if I were to put trim on there now, you would have a gap. So what I'm going to do is cut basically the width of the stile and face the entire window with it right here, so then the outside trim will fit flush against it. What I have to do next is case the window. That's basically the same little detail there. Just a square on a square, but I don't have the outside piece. They don't have any more of those left in the house, so I'm going to have to make those. Here's kind of the basic operation of the window. You got a straight piece, the casing anyway, and it has a piece that sits on it just like that. If I can show it to you this way. Goes around it just in there that away. I don't know if that's in focus or not. So basically I have to make this piece, but I'm just going to do that with a 2x6. I'm going to go ahead and make a ton of it because I need some throughout the rest of the house. So I might as well get it all done now, and I'll set them to the side, get them all sanded up, and then have them ready to go when I start other rooms. Look at us again, back at the old table saw. I'm going to keep these little pieces in my piece pile for later. Alright, this is that piece of trim, like that little move. This is that little piece of trim I was telling you about that I need to replicate. Here's said 2x6. So the longest part is the face, and that is it's a little bit bigger on my 2x6, a little bit smaller here, so I'm not even using a tape measure. Why not? Because I don't care. No, I'm going to use this so it can be as close as possible to the real deal. Brought you over here so you can see the blade versus the profile. What I'm going to do is I'm going to run the blade till it pushes up and then drop it right back down. So that's the right height. Now I'll slide this guy over. So that should give me my first cut. So all in all, I'm pretty pleased with how it turned out. Profile is basically the same. It's pretty simple, straightforward. It's all 90s. The end's kind of jacked up, but you get it. So this just needs sanded and stained. Everything I'm not securing completely because I want to be able to sand and stain it. I just want to have everything up so I know it's all in place. I'm just going to rest that there. What 100-year-old house has windows that open that easy? Just not gonna touch it. Alright folks, so that's pretty much it. I gotta do 4 more of these. I was gonna add, I'm gonna show you how to strip paint. I'll put that in the end. This is real quick. I'm going to make one of these guys look like one of these guys. I got a 3-part process to this. It's very quick and easy, and a lot of people try to spray paint the hard way. And so I'm going to show you the way I do it, and maybe it'll be helpful to you. I do it 3 ways. I got a oscillating saw with just a scraper blade on the end of it, but I don't scrape with it. You'll see in a moment. Then I have a belt sander, palm sander, both 80 grit sandpaper. But first you start with this guy. Again, the blade's pretty sharp. You don't want to dig it into the wood. You want to lay it flat on there.
That way the paint actually heats up and it kind of bubbles it right off there. Otherwise you're going to mar and dig up the wood, and you don't want that. Oh, and wear a dust mask. Treat yourself right. I treat my body like a temple. I make guys take their shoes off before they come inside of me. Hey! I will dig out these little guys here with just a screw or just an awl or something like that. Put a little wood filler in there. Turned out pretty nice.
The staining and putting the glass in, I'll put that as another video, because I got a lot more of these to do, and that'd just be a really long video. Anyway, thanks for watching. That's how you put in a old-timey window. If you have any questions, post them below. Again, this is my first time. If I can do it, you can do it. These videos are about empowerment. Showing if my dumbass can figure it out, so can your dumbass.